Hey, it looks like I'm up. This might be a good thing. Let's just check real quick. Yes, I have audio. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and get my view up so I can see what's going on. And there we go. So I'm going to switch over to cam 1. Hello, Chris with StreamCatcher Society here. And I have finally, I think, got my, I think I finally got my setup running well. It has been a bear to get all of the equipment I've got running usable with one person. So I am hopefully broadcasting live still. I'm going to definitely set up my record functionality real quick on my ATEM. Give me just one moment. And we're going to go and set up a record. That way, we will have this tutorial and we'll be good to go. All right, hopefully we're recording on the ATEM ISO and we're good to go here. So let's just tap a couple things and make sure we are up and running. Hey, look at that. What a beautiful identity. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to take a look at doing that logo in Cinema 4D, and we are going to check it out as far as putting it into 3D print. So we're going to model it for 3D printing, and I've already done a lot of that just to prepare the show. And what we're going to do is go over to, let's see, I've got two machines running right now. Let's see, let's go back to our super source real quick. And that didn't change it. It went from Sony to Sony. There we go. There's my super source, get my overlay up. And look at that. All right. So this is Cinema 4D, as I've said a million times. I also said it in a video before, but nobody could hear me. So I'm doing my best, honest. Working on getting it all set up, and I'm going to do pre-flight checklists, going to have all this stuff set up for you if you want to do streaming, what to avoid, what not to avoid, what to do, what not to do. There's a ton of different things that you have to be aware of when you're doing this kind of stuff, and I definitely overshot for all the equipment and everything that I wanted to do. I should have been a little bit more localized, but I was planning to do a two-person show, and things didn't work out. So we are going to just take a look real quick at Cinema 4D, and let's go ahead and grab the big screen here. Take that up to, I didn't do the VCam. Take the overlay off, and here we go. Okay, so this is Cinema 4D, as I have stated multiple times, and I'm going to show you how this works. Let's go ahead and close down that render view here and close down this browser and take a look at what we have here. So in order to print something, you have to make it hollow. So if you look here, you can see that all of these letters are actually hollowed out and have some meat to them. There's not, you know, they're fairly thin walls, and they might actually be a little bit too thin because this object size is a little large. But as you can see, the object itself isn't even fully, let's go ahead and look here. Okay, so we've got our Gros shading with lines on, and you can see that the object has been remeshed, and I've got a really nice clean polygonal mesh here. kind of does some funky stuff around here, and in here I can definitely clean that up and redo it. I don't like this shape, but I do like what I've been doing as far as cutting it out and doing that kind of thing. So let me show you real quick how that we start that. We actually start that out in Adobe Illustrator. And let me go ahead, go real quick and grab my, let's quit screen sharing. And we'll go to Illustrator. Okay, just making some shapes as well for some motion graphic stuff that we're gonna do. We're gonna do an array here and do some cutouts of this circle element. We can move that around, of course, and do whatever we want there. This is what we're working on with the yin-yang kind of thing. So if we take, and I'm not gonna grab and size all this down right now, but we can actually move the artboard. Document setup. I can change, yeah, anyway, we'll do it later. Okay, so here's a logo, and you can see I've got a bunch of, I've got a couple of different variations. This was for the website that I'm trying different color variations and backgrounds and different things like that. But if we go to, do I have it up? No, I don't. Okay, so we'll open it up. Actually, let's see what recent. Logo for 3D print. This is file 3D print version 2. Let's try that. Okay, so this is the outer box that I made, and I was playing around with it. I was going to do some, if you look here, there's these objects that I had made to cut out of the main object here, and then this is the object that the logo fits into. So if we go over to the logo here, you can see that there's actually pieces in here that make the logo. So this has a hole in it, and I made the hole for this area here bigger just by a hair than the text itself, so that this can fit in. And the idea, what I want to do eventually, and like I said, I don't like this overall shape. I think, you know, this, first of all, it's screwed up here, but I'm going to do something better with this shape, because the idea is that I want to take the text and this part, do a solid part here, but this part for the S, for the icon, and this, and the lines and the society, I want to print that in clear, I want to print it in clear PETG. So print that in clear PETG and then push it through something so that we can kind of glue it into place. And again, this is something that I have not done in a long, long time as far as 3D printing, and to do the models and everything else, it takes a lot more work to get all those pieces and parts in there. And the way we do that, again, if we go over to Illustrator and open our recent, is it one? No. Should have these ready, but I have so many. Okay, Union layered, outer box 02. Okay, and so I took the logo, let's see where I save that. Images, AIPS. Grab myself a. Grab a window down here. And let's go into list and look for it. My date modified. So it would be file another box with inner cut. Okay. Well, sometimes you save something off and it doesn't work. let's go ahead and close that down, don't save. And again, so just kind of give you an idea, let's go ahead and do what we did to the logo before. So all of these paths in Illustrator, same kind of concept in CorelDRAW, things like that, other applications. These are all vector 2D line elements, and you can bring them into Cinema 4D quite easily with the vector import feature. And what we want to do is set up the files so that they're ready to go before we get them into Cinema 4D, and then it makes it easier to do the bevels and do the Boolean cuts and all that other stuff that we want to do. And sometimes you want to separate these out and actually export them as separate files and bring them in, which is something I did as well. So what you want to do is grab, like, for example, we've got this icon. We can grab this, and I just like to go down and go to the Pathfinder and kind of merge it and see what happens. And if it doesn't turn it into a solid block, you're good to go. And this is an Illustrator thing. Compound path make, which is Command 8. That'll make a compound path. And then you can go up and you can create a path and offset that path. And this is going to be, let's say, let's go to 2 pixels. We've got preview on, make it rounded, and doesn't look like I'm getting what I want there. So let's go. And again, we don't want much because what we're trying to do, let's cut that and then go ahead and we'll make another layer and paste that. Call it icon outline. And then we'll take it and bring our color into play so we can see what's going on. So one thing we didn't do is we missed this little guy there. So we can take these here and see if we can merge them. Okay, that's good. Object, compound path, make. We can copy that, and what we can do here is just go here, delete that, and then Command-Shift-V, paste in place. Then we'll go up to Object, Path, and Offset Path again. And we'll see what 3 pixels does for us as well. Getting a little feedback on my microphone. I hope it's not coming in when you guys are listening. Okay, so I've got that and paste that. Now if I go Command-Shift, bracket left, that will take it down in the hierarchy, and then Command plus brings it up. Okay, now you can see we've got a nice outline, and it's very tight and clean around all of the shapes in this object. So that offset path is something you really can't do easily in Cinema 4D, and you want to set these vectors up beforehand so that you can do this the way I'm showing you here. And just changing the colors to check out the different, widths and different things that I'm getting, which is fine. You can turn this black if you want. It doesn't really matter. But you can actually set the colors how you would like them in Cinema 4D and set them up in layers so that everything comes in how you want it to come in. So you can see the black with the purple. You can see a nice outline. And that 3 pixel depth is working pretty good. So that outline anyway. And what that does is, when you take that outline, you could put that on another like square right here, a rectangle, and cut that out of the rectangle, and then you can fit the logo through it. So again, we'll go ahead and take this logo here. This is a very complex part, so this may not work out as intended. You may have to go piece by piece sometimes to get what it is you want. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just go like that. I can cut it and then paste it back in, merge it. Compound path is Command 8. And then path, offset path. Again, 3 pixels, okay. We'll cut that, go up here and paste it. And we're gonna say SC out 1. And we can merge all these at any given point and do what we want with them. But I'll just keep on going to show you how this is working. So we got that, grab our logo again, see, that's all one piece. We could probably do that. So Command copy that. We'll paste that. No, you need to go to the right layer. There we go. Paste that, and then object, compound path make, just in case, and then path, offset path. 3 pixels, yes, okay. We're gonna cut that, delete that, paste that, and fill that, just so we can maintain consistency. And actually what I'll probably do is I'll do it like a blue, because that purple's a little off-putting. Okay, so we've got the outline, the path offset outline of the StreamCatcher and of the icon here, just the outside icon, and I did the inside as well. And then the other thing too that you're going to want to do once we've got all this done is you're going to want to, of course, make the inside path offset so that you can hollow out this all these areas so that they don't become solid pieces for 3D. But if you were just doing motion graphics, you wouldn't necessarily need to do that. All right, these are all the pieces, all the outlines that we've got going on there. So turn this off again, go back and turn this on. We've got this right here, so we can object, path, offset. We have some thunder going on. Offset path, 3 pixels, okay. We'll cut that, go over to here, paste that, and grab your fill. Keep everything consistent. And then we'll go back to here and we'll grab society, and you can see all of it should come over fine. So let's try that. Command C, we'll get rid of that. Over to here, Command V. It's actually Command Shift V. I apologize for putting it in place where it was cut. Okay, so Command 8 to compound path that sucker. Path, offset path, 3 pixels, yes. Cut, delete that, paste that, and blue. Now, we don't, again, have to keep this all blue. And wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, did I get the, oh, this one has a, there we go. Let's take that one off. We don't need a stroke on either one of these. Now, before, just FYI, if people are, getting back into things or used to the old ways of doing things, Cinema 4D had a plugin called CV Art Smart that allowed you to import vector illustrations from Adobe Illustrator, and it was good. It definitely was good. It had gotten a lot better in the last couple versions, but they've made it much easier now with the vector import. And you don't need to worry about, in the past you had to have everything with no fills and hairline outline, and then you could use colors, and now it's just pretty much it will accept even current Adobe Illustrator files, where before it was only version 8 files. So, ooh, I think somebody probably heard that. I don't know if you heard that or not, but that was thunder from down under. Okay, so we're going to bring that back to blue just to keep my consistency with the outline. And then we're going to see where we are with this. Okay, so this is the logo. This is the outline that I'm going to put that back. What the? Ah, that's why. Okay, so we'll grab this and we'll cut that. We don't need that one because we have this one here. So we'll grab that and paste that. There's our outline. And we'll just check, make sure. Yes, we've got our logo. We've got our outline for the outline center. And then this is nothing. So what we'll do here is we'll call this SC inline. Cut. Turn this off. And now going with the logo again, we'll try it. We'll start with the chevron actually. We'll go over to here. And what we want is we want something that's going to give us a cut. And this is not, I want to be clear here. This is not something that I'm doing with the intent of measuring out everything with calipers and everything. I'm just trying things for the first time to see what happens. So when I'm modeling this, I'm modeling it much bigger than I would normally, and I'm just cutting it out kind of willy-nilly. Normally you would want to measure, you'd want to have the walls a certain thickness and everything else, and I may go in and fix that in post. I may find out this doesn't work at all, but this is kind of how I experiment and play around. And so what I'm going to do now is just kind of cut into this 2D shape with the idea that I'm going to be cutting it in 3D. So we've already compound pathed everything and you know, made sure that everything was set up. So I'm going to go back to my object and I'm going to go back to my path offset, and under mine I'm going to minus it out. So I'm going to go to -3, and that's way too little. So I'm going to try -15. Okay, so now if you can see here, we have much more of an interior, and I think what I'll do is I'll go, let's try -12. Okay, and that's a little bit better. So you can see it's not going to do it here, which is good because we need some strength in this area. It's going to create a little bit of a concave here. Maybe we can go to 13. Let's try 13. Oh, 13. Let's see what happens. Oh, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so let's go to 14. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I swear I have dyslexia sometimes. 12. Okay, let's go to 11. Okay, so now you can see what we're kind of getting a line here, and we don't want this line because it's a little too thin and it's not really going to do anything. So I'm going to bring that back up to 12, and that gets rid of the line, and you can see we've got, you know, nice little cutouts. It's going to hollow out some areas that would normally have all of this, you know, area here. In fact, let me go ahead and show you real quick. Grab a purple. Okay. So all of the areas that you see here are going to be cut out of the S. Now, again, because I'm planning on making this much smaller than this would typically tend to indicate, I'm going to go ahead and leave all of these basically solid. We've got some kind of smallish little cuts here, but it's really not going to do anything, and I could even, you know, potentially go ahead and go in and get rid of these. Just delete these out because they can cause more noise and problems than they're worth. Delete these, and we could even potentially delete that and then maybe just put a circle in the center here. Size it down just a little bit more. We just want a little hole. Okay, and that looks actually pretty good for the S, because again, we don't want too much going on, and we want to make sure that if it's smaller, you know, we don't want to try and cut something out of a very, very small piece. So this is already going to be small enough. That whole cutting section should be fine. We'll go ahead and grab it and cut it. And then we'll go up to this one, and we'll paste that, and we'll say SC inline cut. Perfect. Okay. So actually, icon inline cut. Name your stuff, because when you go back in with other files and different things, you're gonna wish you had. Name your stuff. All right, we have that now. And let me make sure I did this perfectly right. So SC out, let's call this outline 1. Bring that down to the bottom. Turn it off. And yeah, it looks like I did it right. Yes, okay. I just wanted to make sure I did it with the actual icon and not the outline icon, but that looks about right. So that's good. And then we can go back to here And again, all the pieces are there. We're going to go ahead and grab our path offset again. We'll do -12. Color it to show you real quick where we are and me. And that looks good. That's fine. So we'll cut that, paste it here, and we just keep on going down the line and doing this. Again, we're doing it piece by piece because I tend to find that trying to do operations like this, which are very compute intensive or math intensive, they really tend to have problems. So looks like we got a little extra there. Okay, so we'll take this one. We've got this one that's gonna go up to here. And we've got this one. It's gotta go up to here. I think that was already there. We'll cut that one out, cut that one out, and cut that one out, because that's all too small. And that looks about right. So again, we're just taking and making sure that we know that there's going to be areas that are going to be really thick and we don't want a lot of plastic in them, you know, because we're doing this for a 3D model again. And that's really all of this layer is going to do. It's going to cut out the pieces out of that model there. Again, we have no way to do that, and this, you're pushing your luck. So what we can do here is just, we'll go ahead and show you how we do a path offset and just make it a little bit less. We'll try -7. Okay, so if you see -7, that's kind of not too bad. Let's try -5. Okay, no, I need to go to let's go -8. Dyslexia again. I really don't have dyslexia, but sometimes I really feel like I do. Okay, that looks about good. That looks about right. Maybe let's take it to -9. Yeah, it looks better. I need a little width. I want a little, you know, bit of cushion there around the edges because, you know, I don't want these things to break off and they can, you know, they can be tough. But I also want a little light to come through because I plan on making this clear and lighting it from the back. So these pieces will be clear as, when they go through the base that I'm going to build. So that looks good. We'll go ahead and color you guys again just so everybody can see what's going on. And here we go. Cut that. Paste that. And now we have 3 layers. So go to outline. You can see we've got 3 layers. You can see we've got 3 layers there. So we've got the one very thin one that's going to be the cutter that's going to cut out the area where these letters are going to drop in. Then we've got the letters themselves, and then we've got the cutout for the inside of the letters to hollow them out just a little bit so that we're not wasting filament and we're not printing for too long, you know, to printing a huge big block of something. So that's really when you do 3D, and, you know, and AI, all this Sora, we can talk about that. When you do 3D, you're in 2D a lot, right? And a lot of people, if they don't know what 3D is, if they don't know about Cinema 4D, you know, you're in 2D a lot, whether you're in Photoshop or Illustrator or, you know, open source versions of that, whatever it might be. You're doing texture mapping, you're doing vectors like I just showed you, vector shape editing, you're doing all kinds of different things to bring things into 3D so that you can then do all kinds of stuff from extruding to texturing to lighting to rendering. And we just set everything up and get it ready, and then we go over to Cinema 4D, and then we get something like this. So as you can see, the interior of this model is actually cut out and hollowed. So all of the parts that you can see on the front look great. They're all beveled. They have nice polygonal structure. Go over, and this is, again, this is ZBrush, Z remesher inside of Cinema 4D, which is just probably worth the cost of entry alone to some people. I mean, look at that topology. It's mind-numbingly good. I love it. So yeah, this is the back again that we're looking at. So the hollowed out surface, we've got the interior inside that just, you know, the icon is two parts. The chevron is a two-part logo. So you've got two pieces that are textured differently. Again, you've got the interior and the exterior kind of S part. And both of those are hollowed. Just like the text is hollowed, how we did it. Let me see if I can't. Just having to light this sucker. There we go. And move that down. Just get a little more ambient light on it. Change my intensity a little bit. And now, if we take a look, it makes it a little bit easier to see. I'm not sure if that made it easier to see at all. So yeah, all of these pieces, and we'll turn off the line shading. All of these pieces are separated and can be easily moved out from one another. So let's go ahead and let me save this real quick. Okay, so if we take that, and we take this, and we take our logo, and then start moving it around. Let's go ahead and take this and hide that. All right, so hide the outside. And we can much more easily see now what is going on with the logo itself. So everything is hollowed out, and you can see if you go to the side view, and we zoom in on this stuff a little bit. That mesh is so dense right there for some reason. Boy, that really is dense. I need to take that down quite a bit. But right here, it gives you an indication of how deep the front face of the text is. So I pushed the secondary cutting object, you know, I created it and then I pushed it into the text itself until it went, you know, a millimeter or so, what would be the equivalent of a couple of millimeters behind the front facing of the text, and then when I Boolean cut it out, this is the result we get. So if we go up to Open Recent, let's try number 2. Oh, one thing about dual monitors, it throws up windows all over the place. Okay, unable to load. Why? Okay, oh right, because I moved that directory. So let's go ahead and grab, let's see, all right. Just wanted to show you here, I incrementally save all my files so that I can, one, for tutorial purposes, but just kind of have an incremental save, because you never know when something you are doing, you might want to change it or go back. As you can see, this one, for example, has been turned editable, that word has been turned editable. This is a vector version of the logo. This is another editable version, and this is a Boolean of the icon. So if I turn that back on and go out, I don't even see the icon. That's interesting. So there's the icon in, and then the icon in cutout. So go over here, and we'll show you this real quick. Take these, pull these out of the Boolean here, and Why am I not seeing my object? That's odd. Okay, let's try another one. Just kind of give you an example of what's going on here. There we go. All right, so 3D print. Let's try 3. See what happens. Is this 3? That is 3. Okay. Okay, so here's an example of some of the cutters that I used, and this is also a place where I hadn't fully extended the dimensions of how everything I wanted. So this gives you a kind of a good idea of starting out and being able to take a look at this. And I did actually cut these though. So this one is where the let's go ahead and hide this one right here. And you can see I cut out the logo itself. So if I want to show you how that's done in something like this, let's go ahead and make sure our file's set up and ready. We've got SC outline 1. We've got logo white, so let's go, yeah, so logo white. We're gonna go logo outline for whole. And then icon, it's not icon, it's logo. Okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to bring up a vector file import in Cinema 4D that's going to be separated out into 3 separate objects that I can then manipulate because they're in different layers. And of course I can color them, I can do whatever I want in here. Go over to our preview and see that everything is not, currently colored how it should be. So if we go here and grab all of these are the outlines. Maybe I'll make this a dark blue, change it to my actual website color, and grab you, and then grab you. You should be white, that's fine for now. And then the cutter doesn't really matter, but I'm going to leave it well, maybe I'll change it to, maybe I will change it. Zoom out a little bit, make sure you've got it all. You can actually, join these guys as well. Do a Command H for compound path. Whoop. Nope. What happened? Huh. Something happened. Okay, let's try that again. So boom, we got that. Okay. Command 8. There we go. Okay. Now that that's all done, I can change the color to something a little more. Change it to like a red. That's fine. Now, if we save this file on our computer, let's save it to. Okay, SCS logo master. Call this 4C4D. Why not? Toot. I'll have to delete this. Okay. So saving that as an AI file, SCS master ID, AI images. Okay. I've got so many folders. All right. Save that, and then if we go back to Cinema 4D, where'd you move over there? Things are moving on me. All right, let's go ahead and, oh, that's why, because I switched to a standard view and it flipped it over to my other monitor. That's fun. All right, don't hit standard when you're in dual screen. All right, let's get a new logo, or a new file, I mean. And we're going to go over here to our Cinema 4D tool set. This is one of the main tool panels in C4D. And this is your subdivision surface panel. So what you want to do is click on that and then go down to vector import. And we will go ahead and grab that file right here. Once we have our window that pulls over to there. AI EPS, and then date modified, today, and going to here, and there it is, just making sure. Once we bring this in, hopefully it won't crash. It's not necessarily Cinema 4D, it's any number of given things, but this is looking like it might have an issue. Okay, I've got open and save panel problems for some reason. Let's go ahead and quit you. All right, let's see. And that killed it. All right, let's go ahead and quit that, and we'll load it again. There's your nice little splash screen. And it throws it all up over here. That's where dual screens can be a real pain sometimes. Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is the Cinema 4D splash screen. It comes up with lots of cool things that you can check out and all your recent files and that kind of thing, new and open, just typical splash screen that apps have. So let's try that one again. Let's see what happens if we do vector import, grab this sucker, and bring you over here. And let's try this one again. It's very interesting. I have not had a problem at all with the vector import until today. So very strange. And it looks like I'm having a definite problem with this. So maybe this is a good learning lesson here. Let's go over to here and take a look at what we've got going on. I see nothing that would be out of the ordinary that would cause this file not to work, but just for giggles, let's go ahead and try, we'll take fill down to none, and we'll do a hairline stroke, which is 0.25, and as you can see, that's barely visible. That's one of the problems with working in the outline form, so I actually put it in outline format, and I'm trying to say, I don't think I've got any problems here, so I don't know why this would be doing what it's doing, but let's go ahead and save this out a little bit smaller. Save that. We'll save it as on our computer again. We'll call it 2 just to check something. We're going to save it as an AI file. Yes. Okay, let's do... And I did not have this problem before, so just to let you know, normally I'll do it with other logos, and you'll see it's not an issue, but I don't know why this did this. Okay, so we're going to do that, in an older format, and let's try to load Cinema 4D again. The frustrations of computing. It's all right, it happens. Apps crash, but again, I have not had a problem. I have not had a problem with Cinema 4D doing vector import. So again, let's try, let me see if I can does resize the window, which is nice. Let's go and try to vector import the other one that I had done. So we got our file. Let's see, AIPS. We got our yin-yang symbol. Okay, so let's try this. 3D print with intercut. We know this worked. See? This worked. Now, let's do it again and see if we can get the one that we've been working on inside Cinema. Grab our file again, window over here, master, and try 2.2. Bizarre. Okay. Let's kill that. I'm going to kill that scene file altogether. Load another one. Go ahead and vector import again. I don't know why this is... I tell you, the funniest things happen when you're trying to do tutorials live. I think I'm going to stop doing live tutorials and just do recorded ones, because then I'm able to cut and paste the good stuff. Okay, here we go. It came in. My Lord. Lord help me. Okay, so now we've got, as you can see, we've got no outlines, or no colors, no nothing that have come in. And if we take our height, bring it up our size a little bit, bring our extrusion depth out like that, and then we take our path spread and bring it out like that, you can see all these paths are separated out with them like that. You can see that they're going to be spread. So you can also animate this as well. So you could potentially, you know, animate your logo flying out. Oh, sorry, 20 millimeters there. You'd spread your logo out, you know, and have it literally fly into place. And of course, you can do much more complex things. But again, we don't want the path spread. We can do a layer offset, which is cool, because that offsets just our layers and allows us to see the pieces that we have. So if you can see, we've got, in order pretty much, we've got our cutter that is going to, I'd like to see what I'm doing here. Let's do a standard white material. Blue, get a little bit of blue in there, and we'll just pop these on so we can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. Okay, so this looks like the outline. Well, this is very interesting. So we have no solid pieces whatsoever in any of these, which is not what I wanted. And if we go back to this and take our colors back, okay, and then no logo outline. There we go. Okay. Now let's try and save this again and see what happens. So we'll go ahead and save as, save on my computer. And we're going to go ahead and do the two, again, we'll just overwrite that and replace. PDF, use compression. I don't need to embed the profile. I can use compression. Okay, let's see what that does. Bring that over and delete. And then go to vector object and bring in our file again. Okay. That looks like it did what I wanted it to do. excuse me, again, the old way of doing it was bringing in those vectors, using an Illustrator 8 and doing just outlines. But now you can see we've got our colors, we've got our shaded objects, we've got solid objects. So I can go ahead and extrude the depth more, like 20 there, and then do a layer offset. And we've got some red, white, and blue action going here. That's pretty cool. All right. Now you can see that obviously we've got thicker and thinner items. This is our cutout for any kind of object that we want to put the logo into. This is our cutout for the logo interior to go right up to behind the front face wall so that we can cut out shapes. And now let's go ahead and let's just do that real quick, but I want to do a couple things. So I'm going to grab this and copy it 3 times. Then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, I'm going to go and say SC logo middle for now. And SC logo in. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, middle and in would be the same thing. So we're going to go SC logo out. So we've got out and we've got in and then we've got the logo itself. What I want to do is I'm going to take the logo and I want to bevel it, and then I want to get rid of the other 2 pieces, and then I want to do the other 2 and get rid of the middle piece and the other piece as well. So watch, I'll show you. Turn this off, turn these off, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to caps, and I'm going to take my bevel to, let's try 2 and see what happens. 2 millimeter may be too much, but I'll take a look right here and zoom in a little. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. But we don't want these bezels on interior shapes that we're going to be cutting, or on the other object that we're going to be cutting out the hole out of. So that looks pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. Maybe I'll go 1.5 just to get a little bit tighter of a bevel. That looks good. And now you can see we've got that beveled object. But what we want to do now is get rid of these 2 items because we've got them over here in other copies that we made. So let's go ahead and real quick save this file. Always save your work. So we'll call this SCS logo 221. And there we go. Now that we've got that done, we've got, again, we have 3 objects that we've cloned, we've cloned it twice, and we've got it labeled in, out, and then the regular one, and we've got 2 of them off, and then this one is on. So if I go here and I say make it editable, pop this out, it puts everything under a null, which is kind of pointless in my opinion, because this is a null to begin with once you change it. But you have another null here, and then you have the logo inline, logo white, logo outline. So we know that we can get rid of that one and that one immediately, and then we just have the logo that we can play with right here. And that's maybe the depth we want or whatever. We can always change the depth. Depth is fairly easy to change after the fact, although it does change your bevel profile a little bit if you're selecting a small object and just choosing depth. But for now, for the purposes of this tutorial, that's fine. We can see that everything is how it should be. The bevels look really nice, nice and smooth, and everything looks clean. We'll go ahead and hide that, and then we'll do the same thing for the logo in, turn it on. We'll make it editable because we don't need to bevel anything on this, and we want just the logo in. So we grab our null. That's the inline cut that we want. We want the white gone, and we want the outline gone. So now we can take the logo inline cut and move it down here and get rid of this entirely. Now we have this We can turn both of these off. These little dots will turn off viewport and rendering. So viewport above, rendering below. And you just cycle through from green to red to nothing to off. And so now we've got both of these layers off. We know they're off. We can see just our logo out. And we're going to do the same thing to the logo out. We just want the blue one because we just want the cutter for that. So we'll make that editable. And this is just a little trick. What I'm showing you is basically this is how you do the object if you want to get a bevel on the main object, but you don't want any of your cutting objects to have bevels. You can go ahead and just easily make copies and do it this way. So the object outline for the whole is there. And we can just go ahead and delete this altogether. Now let's save this off. Let's go ahead and turn back on the objects so we can see them and make sure that everything is correct. So everything looks right. And we've got 3 separate layers now. Everything is still in editable mode. We can go down and see all these fills and everything else. We can turn this into an object. I'm going to save, like I said, I'm going to save this like I normally do. I always save revisions because you never know when you want to go back and see something. So 1B, let's see 4D right there. And save that out. Okay, now that we have all of this, let's go ahead and take the objects. We've saved it as B already. What we want to do is let's get rid of the outline for the moment. Let's turn that off. We're just turning it off from the viewport, and that will render. So if you click here, you can actually turn that off and render as well because we're not going to need it right now. What we want to do is go over to our inline cutter, and you can see we're moving it here with this transform tool. Now I just moved it all over the place, so I'm going to go ahead and undo. And then if I grab the blue, I can move it straight back in and out like that. Grab our orthographic view, we can see here. What I want to do now is I'm just going to go real quick and I'm going to go ahead and make all of these objects. So you can texture, there's other things you can do beforehand. We're just doing this for cutting. Remember, this is for a 3D model. So we're not going to be doing crazy texturing or anything like that, but we do want good topology, we want good models, and we want to make sure we're doing a good job. So we're going to go down to here, take a look at all of our stuff and things right here, and the logo inline cut and the logo, everything looks like it should be good to go. Now, one thing I was doing before in the video, the last video I had that there was no sound on, was trying to tell you about things that, especially if you've been doing computer graphics for a long time, quite often you will do something that is harder to do, or you'll find out later on down the road that there was a much easier way to do it, and you did it the hard way just because that's the way you learned how to do things, and you're thinking that it won't work if you try it the easy way. So Booleans are a really good example of this. Maxon, they've done an incredible job in a lot of respects with their tools, but Booleans is one of those ones where it's always kind of been a magic leprechaun thing with 3D artists. Boolean subtractions, unions, intersections, that kind of stuff are extremely powerful, and Maxon has just knocked it out of the park with their Boolean capability and their volume mesher and their volume builder, which we will definitely get to in another video. I've got tons of stuff to cover. I'm doing a lot of stuff for Project M2 I can't even show you, but it's going to be fantastic. So get back to this and we'll show you real quick. The idea here is that we want to create good topology, we want to create a good mesh, and we want to hollow this piece out so that we can have some kind of hollowness, and this is going to be a clear piece that I'm going to print, and I want the hollowness to be able to have the light shine through better, and I also, of course, don't want to waste filament. The more you can cut out extraneous areas of the model or pre-plan for them, the better off you'll be. What we're going to do here is we're going to look at the side view, and we've got two parts. We've got the logo itself, which you can see there's some actual placement issues going on here, but we've got the logo itself, and we're going to go ahead and grab this item, grab our, okay, this is our pivot point tool, so I'm going to move that pivot point right now up to something that's more manageable, like right in the center. And then turn off pivot point, and then we can go ahead and move that like this. Now, you can see that the red and the white, it's always helpful to have different colored meshes here to kind of see what's going on. But I'm going to want it, you know, kind of like there, I think. And if we go back out to the perspective view, you'll see that there is the cut out part is not quite in there all the way. It's got a little bit of a edge sticking out of the back. What I want to do now is, because I've got these, they're not quite objects yet. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and inline cut, connect objects and delete. Just call it cutter. And then logo, same thing, outline for whole. That's not what we want this one. We're going to connect objects and delete. We're just going to call that SCS logo. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to actually give both of these the same color. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put that there. And the reason I did that really more than anything else is just to get cohesion with all of the faces, so I don't have to go in and select them and call them different colors, because if I cut this object out with this object using a Boolean, and they're two different colors, the color from the Boolean objects that's being subtracted will actually transfer to the cut. So if I can show you real quick, it's not that big a deal, but I'll show you if you're interested. It's something that isn't that big of a deal, but could be if you get down the road and you're trying to texture something and you really can't figure out why you can't get to these crazy faces that have been textured wrong. So if we go down to here and put it in the middle, everything I cut out now inside of that blue text is going to be orange where the cutout happened. So we don't want to do that. And like I said, well, I can do it, but it's kind of pointless. So I'll just undo that, and then we're going to take these two items and we're going to do a Boolean here. So the SCS logo and the cutter, and A subtracts B is usually how it goes. So I can bring that up now if I wanted to. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to go over to here to bool. So you can see this bool right here. Grab that. And you take the cutter and the logo and you just simply select them and drag and drop them underneath the Boolean object. Okay? And again, with my dyslexia, I got it wrong. A subtracts B. Okay. There we go. I swear I do that all the time. My father, when he would walk into malls, my mom would be like, which way, left or right? And my mom would be like, she'd just point, because there was no point in telling him left or right. And he was a coder. And you can see we've got great cuts here, okay? But this is not geometry. You know, let's not be mistaken. This is not baked in, you know, full-blown geometry that we could do things to make it bend, wiggle, you know, shatter apart. These are just faces that Cinema 4D has created for you and made that Boolean, which is, I mean, in my opinion, I'm just amazed at how well it does these Booleans. And, you know, like I said, can provide tons of advantages. Volume builder and volume mesher is amazing. But here you go. We've got, the logo is cut out already. And we can go ahead and grab, let's see, just call this, logo. It's a Boolean. And one of the things that's kind of hard to remember what all those little icons are, so I sometimes will go in and call it what it is. So logo bool. And if we look at the cutout area again, take this and move it right to here, you can see that this does have a nice little edge to it. And we can almost use that, we can use that for all kinds of different things, but again, we're using it as a cutout to make sure that the logo itself would fit into a hole that would be cut out of this item right here. So let's see, go to here, object, spread our layers out. And again, this is kind of the idea we had for the base that we were going to use for the 3D print, but I'm not really happy with it. I want to do something definitely different with the logo and kind of put it into a piece that works better than this. But again, we've got all these pieces, and this is just the vector import. So if we go ahead and make it editable, we'll see that that consists of 4 individual layers, and that's how they were created in Illustrator in order to bring them in like that. And then you can work with them and do all kinds of things from, you know, Boolean cutting them out to whatever. So if we go and undo that, bring it back to our vector logo, we don't have any depth to these whatsoever, so we can bring out some depth. And you can see our little logo is up there as well. I think, what is that? Yes, so it's just part of it. Okay, that came in with that file. So we can get rid of that piece as well, but that's actually part of something. This wasn't the file that I was using. But I take this and go ahead and make it editable and bring this out. Let's see, which one is what? Okay, that's the big boy right there. So grab this guy, connect objects and delete, cut him out and bring him over to here. Now, let's see what we can see. Oh, so it brought that object over too. Yeah, it brought that object over. So I can go ahead and, I'm just going to go and grab all that, grab the polygons, grab a lasso selection, and get rid of all those. Boom, delete them. And then do the same with points. Delete them. And that wasn't really the way I would have done it, of course. But we go back to object selection mode, and now we can see that we've got just the piece here. And again, this was made for the logo that was, of course, going to have the chevron above. And I do have that somewhere. Let's see. Take a look real quick. Projects. Which one's the latest one? Modify. Let's see what this one is. Okay, you gonna load for me? Oh, it is loading. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. The scene is already open. Do you want to open it with the same name and title? Oh, no. I may have hung this. Okay, well, let's go over to PC real quick, and I will show you. Yeah, I'll show you something we're doing over here. We're playing with, not playing with, we're working with Cinema 4D on Mac and PC. This is running an RTX 3070, and yeah. The difference is night and day. I mean, just night and day. I am so pissed off at AMD. In my opinion, they're just sucking. So unless AMD wants to send me a new card and prove me wrong, I'm not recommending you buy AMD anything. including the chips, so the CPUs. Again, we have all of these pieces rendering in Redshift. Hit that render button. Let's see. Okay, now go back to the Mac. See, I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. I got it set up. All right, we're back. Now this is a very, very heavy, thick object. I have to take down the polygon count on quite a bit. I think that's the reason this is kind of hanging on me. All right, well, let's go back to my PC. So we're rendering here in Redshift and just trying some things out, and I was just moving the logo out a little bit to kind of show you what's going on. We are rendering in Redshift, and it handles it a lot better on the PC than it does on Mac, and that's purely because of the NVIDIA graphics. If it was not for these NVIDIA graphics, I tell you, we'd be hurting. Over the last 20, 30 years, they've been the reason that people have been able to do the things that they wanted to do in 3D. So I'm very grateful to companies like that who've created some great tools. And I look forward to working with more in the future. Again, this is our logo. We're just playing around with it, doing some different things in motion graphics, setting up some backgrounds, doing some cloning, and that kind of thing. Let's see if we've got our system back yet. Looks like we do. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. We got another crash, maybe? No? Let's first quit on loop deck. Okay. So that's the bool. Border cutter and society outline. I'm wondering. I should have saved that in another one. That was 4B, 4C. Okay, let's try 4C. That's the one I wanted, not 4B. Upgraded. And this is why you have to open the right files. Hold on just a second. Okay, so untitled 4. No, I don't want to save. There we go. Oh, how pretty. Okay, so again, we can see that I've got some definite issues with some polygons here. I can actually probably just clean that up. Anyway, I'll deal with that in a minute. Go back to object mode. See, we've got our object. We've got a lot of polygons in here. If we click on this object and go to object information, our little window will pop up over on the other screen, of course. And that's, only 84,000 polygons. Now that's, a lot for a little object like this when you first think about it. But then if you look, if you look at this object here, there's actually a lot of geometry there. There's a lot of detail that we could actually be missing because we're using such a low polygon count. This could easily be a couple 100,000 polygons, and you can see that it's nice and smooth, and it pretty much is doing the job that we want it to do. But again, oh, sorry, hold on. Buttons like crazy. Again, the idea here was to create this that would go through, and then the lettering could go through it and come in from the back and either be glued in, you know, so that like there would be a base. And that's one of the things I'm going to be working on as well, which is if you're going to do a 3D model, you know, how are you going to actually print all these pieces and get them to work together? If I printed this and I wanted them to stick through the model, you know, to a certain point, say like maybe right there, I would need to go in and create some kind of solid area that this could be, the back could be glued to this part. So this would actually have, all the lettering would have like a lip on the inside. So I haven't figured that all out yet, but I think that's probably what I'm going to do, which I can totally do with another outline around the logo. So again, if we go back to Adobe Illustrator, what I would do is I would create another outline. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. So the idea, what was I doing? The idea would be to, well, shoot. Okay. So I cut out the logo, and then I would do another outline for what now? Oh shoot, I just forgot. Oh, yeah. For the base. Jeez. Ooh. Okay. Right. For the area that, if you look here, we would, you know, see this, and we could absolutely take the thickness of this down depending on where we wind up being when we actually size the model, you know, to its proper dimensions. But we take the thickness down to whatever layer or level that we want as far as height, and either at the base or somewhere in between, you know, it doesn't really matter where. If we're going to glue it, what you would do is you would create another outline that would go around the logo, something like this. So let's go ahead and grab just the logo, and that's the outline, right? Just the logo and the inline. Okay. So what we'd want to do is grab, we'd want to do another outline, and so we'll go ahead and make another layer here, and we'll call this base for glue logo. And if we take our path offset again, for example, you know, object, path, offset path, and then we go say, let's try 11. Okay, 11 gives us somewhat of a base, but I could take it out even more. So like say 22. And 22 is looking pretty good. Yeah, maybe I'll take it up to even 30, because what I want to do is create enough of a lip around these guys that when I create all of them, I'll merge them together and then just create a thin face that I can do. So let's do this real quick because it won't take that long. Again, we've got our object here, so cut that and paste it. Logo for glue, base for glue, right, yes. So take that one, good. Bring you guys up here. Again, we got that logo for glue. So I'll take you and make you a color. Let's make you a gray. And we'll do that again. Offset path. Okay. Gray. We'll cut it here and paste it. And as you can see, we've got this piece that we can then use. And if we grab all of this, okay, got the color wrong there, of course. Grab all that, and we'll just go like this and connect everything, and then Command 8. Now, because I am just showing you this, I'm going to go ahead and do something real quick. I'll just delete this, Let's delete all of these. That. Okay, now we just have the outline that we want that we're going to make. So I'm going to go ahead and save this right now. Command-Shift-Save, save on my computer. And I'm going to call that SCS logo glue base. And we'll put it in SCS master ID repo. Why not? Okay. Save that and okay. Now when we go back to Cinema 4D, what we can do is go ahead and bring in another vector import. So let's take a look at where we are now. Let's go ahead and undo all of that. And we'll save this again because we haven't done anything. Then we'll save it again as 4D. Okay. And as you can see there, we've got everything we need for that logo, but we're going to go ahead for now and just get rid of this outside box so we can just see the logo. And we'll actually get rid of the area light too. And now all we can see is the logo. Now what we need to do is bring in that other piece so that we can make a base for the text for StreamCatcher and show you how that works. So this is how you have to be detailed and process oriented in what it is you're doing when, especially with 3D printing and other things like that, because you're going to be making this physical and it matters. CS master repo glue base. Okay, open that up, and you can see right now we've got our base model. It's got a little bit of a flatness to it. So my extrude depth, I'm going to make it 1 millimeter. And then I go over to our orthographic view and I'm going to grab it and hit E for move and move this up and into position. Now, the trick here, of course, is to get it completely right all the way around the object. And it looks like we've got a sizing issue, so we'll take the T key, bring that down a little, move it over. Let's see where we are. T key again. That's too big. There we go. That looks about right. And again, this isn't one of those areas where you have to be completely accurate, because what we're doing is we're only creating a shelf, basically, that we can glue this piece into a back piece. And as we look here onto the side view, a little bit, you can see here that the object itself is just a flat kind of structure, and we want to merge it with this StreamCatcher text at a certain point so that it gives us a little lip. And that is perfect. And then that way, when you print this, we'll merge these two items, and actually give it a color here. Of course. There we go. Okay. So we can actually take this and bring it all the way to the point where we want to, okay, I'll show you. That's solid, right? So we can Boolean this to that depth. We can keep it right on the edge if we wanted to, and do it like that. And we're just going to kind of have to play around with how I want to have this go through the other object. Again, the main outside. There we go. And you can see how that would fit right through. So if I grab this guy and this guy, so both of those two, StreamCatcher and the logo glue, so I can put that down there, right next to him, right there, and pull these guys out. You can see that I can go all the way through, and what the idea is that eventually it would get glued to like right there. And of course that's probably too far out there, but you never know, it might look cool. I think that's a little too much though. So again, we can take and pull this out, go over to our stuff here and take a look. And, you know, well, actually we're going to go ahead and grab this and make this, let's make that 3 millimeters. Give it a little, because we're actually going to size this down even more. So I could potentially make it 4. We're going to size it down overall. But again, you take this one and you move it like this, and you say, okay, that's about, you know, where I want it. You know, if that's 4, so that's 4, 8, 12, 16. So I go like to maybe here, and then grab this one and bring it in like this. And then move it like that. And now you can see we've got a solid shelf that we can Boolean cut out. You know, and we can do a number of things. If you want to get really detailed about it, one of the things I would do is I would Boolean cut the actual text logo, this logo, out of this piece as well, because that would, of course, slide right through there and connect to this object. But that would also remove the holes in here that are unnecessary for the backing, so that it would keep it clear and open in order to have that happen. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Again, this, you know, well, I'm not going to do it right now, because I'm going to redo the whole logo and make sure all the layers are where you want. This is, again, a perfect example of figuring out what it is you want to do with your logo, how you want to separate things out, what pieces you want to have wiggle and jiggle and shake, or any other number of potential effects and different things that you can have go on. And as you can see here, we've got a really dense mesh on our logo, and we've got barely anything happening here on this glue kind of area that I made. There's hardly any, because it's not actually a full-blown polygonal object like this one is yet. It is still a vector object. So we can, of course, turn that into an object and do all of our cutting and everything else like that. But you're going to see that it's going to be much easier. Well, I mean, actually, I could do it right now, potentially. Let's see here. Hold on. No. Okay. So, well, let's try this. Okay, why not? Let's do StreamCatcher here, and we'll grab this logo here. Cut these guys, and we'll go to a new file. It's much easier to just see on a new file here. Okay, so we've got our objects going on, and I'm going to want to take this one and connect object. Oop, that was dumb. Take this one and connect objects and delete. That one I'm going to call shelf. Why not? And then there's the logo. What I want to do here is we're going to cut out a hole for the shelf to go over and then bring the shelf back into the other file. Grab this, move it like that. And that gives us everything we need to create a Boolean that will cut out a hole out of this object, I believe. And I don't know about the hollow part. That might be a problem. So let's do this. Let's take this guy and I'm gonna stretch him on the Z-axis like this, really wide. And the reason that I'm doing that is because that way I'm gonna get some meat right up in the beginning. I know that once I've stretched this, that area in front should be solid. So when I cut the text out of the frame part, we shouldn't be left with any holes, but let's give it a ring, try. Let's give it a ring. Let's give it a try. Boop, bool. Grab both, highlight, drop. And we shall see. Sometimes a Boolean, one of the things that Cinema doesn't do very well sometimes is tell you what's going on. So if the computer's thinking about it, it'll just kind of sit there looking dumb and not give you a message that something is happening. So be warned about that. And we're spinning. We are on a Core i9-10900K with 128 gigs of RAM. And an AMD 6900 XT. We have another machine over there. I'm pointing to the left if you could see me. Over here, we have a Core i5 with 64 gigabytes of RAM and a 3070. So we're a little bit behind on the hardware side of things, the PC hardware side of things. We've gotten way back into PCs in the last couple of years because of all the things going on. So we're big Mac people and PC people. Hate Windows, but you know, do what you got to do. All right, let's go back to our screen here, and we are still cruising with the beach ball of death. Damn. Okay. Well, this is just a perfect example of trying to do something that probably isn't a good idea, which is I took the StreamCatcher Society logo that I had already remeshed. I'd already Z-meshed it and made it a very dense polygonal mesh. And I took the glue kind of edges that I was going to make, and I didn't even, I barely turned them polygonal. So I probably should have remeshed those as well like I did before. And this is a perfect example of using the tools all the way through properly, or you might have a problem like we're experiencing right now with a crashed application. But boy, I'll tell you, I can crash an application like nobody's business, so I don't really hold Cinema responsible for that, that's for sure. Okay, not responding. Come on. Oh, wait, is it back? Ooh, did it work? Yeah, see, sometimes you have to wait for an application to come back into play. And no, it didn't work. Damn. I got tricked. Wait, it did. Did it or not? Nope, still not responding. Okay. It was responding and then it wasn't. So, again, this is part and parcel of doing work where sometimes you're doing very complex math and that kind of thing. And we'll just go ahead and reload Cinema real quick. And we will do that again. So just to explain to you what happened real quick, I went in, I took that glue part that I made and I made it polygonal. I made it into an editable mesh. But all the mesh itself wasn't actually a true polygonal geometry, piece of geometry. So when you have a big flat plane, like on a piece of text or whatever, it's an R and you've got that one big plane on the front, that's not going to render right. So you actually have to turn it into polygonal geometry, whether it's, quadrangles or triangles, that kind of thing. And you need to properly make sure that all of your objects are in that manner and set up polygonally before you start to carve other pieces out of them. And again, Cinema 4D was doing a great job with all these booleans, and it was actually booliening the objects out before I was actually having to do a remesh or anything else like that, and I could do the remesh afterwards. And that may be wrong, I don't know, but I don't think it is. And that was working out great. But just like in this situation where you've got a dense polygonal mesh and 50, 40,000 polygons, and then you use something else that has a very low polygon count and it's not actually really true quadrangles or triangles, and you're trying to cut that out of, that shape out of another polygonal object, you're going to have problems. Booleans are extremely, like I said, extremely math intensive, and that is definitely something that you will have a problem with moving forward. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick, and I will show you what it is I mean. If we go over to our recent again, and let's open up 4D, I believe. D4D. I didn't plan that one. Okay. And again, we've got our objects. If we look again, I have done all of the work here in getting these objects remeshed. And like I said, I don't like this. I've got some real polygonal problems going on here. You can see I've got some messed up geometry there, and I can clean that up, or I could just, go ahead and actually make a new model entirely, but I could go in here and, I don't even know if I can. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do something different with that, but we'll go back to what we were working on and show you real quick what I mean. So we're gonna grab StreamCatcher and we're gonna copy it, bring it over here and paste it. Hello? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go paste it. Did I not get it? Command C, Command V. There we go. We're gonna have to do that import real quick again. Let's close this one out just for the heck of it. No, I don't want to save. All right, so we're gonna bring in the vector import again of the base that we're going to use so that we can glue it into place. And, oh, do I have my full screen? Thank you. There we go. And vector import. Drag and drop. And there's that logo glue base. Right there. All right. Once again, we have some positioning to do, unfortunately. Go up here, and we'll just see how well we're doing here. So let's like that. Yeah, too big there. And how we do? Still too small. There we go. That's looking pretty good. All right, back to that, and we can take a look at our orthographic view. And again, we have nothing going on here right now as far as depth or the model itself. So what we got to do is go back to here, grab our layer offset and our path spread, take that to 0, take our extrude depth to, we're going to go to 4 millimeters, I think I said. And height is where we want it because we moved that around. And yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so once we've got that, everything looks good, and I don't need caps on this because I want a flat surface. I'm going to go ahead and connect objects and delete. Now if I look at my orthographic view again and zoom in here, I want to measure and see how far we are for our size. So if I go up to Tools, Guide, Tools, Guide, Measure and Construction, and I go from here to, I wonder if I can get that. Thing is always where I don't want it. Okay, let's delete that, new measure. Thank you. So right there to right there. I must be doing something wrong with this stupid thing. Okay, let's try a new measurement. New measure. Go to here. Here, not ideal. All right, so that tells me it is about 51 millimeters. And that's not too bad. I mean, considering that I'm going to size it down quite a bit still, I'm going to bring it in like maybe halfway. Okay. Now I'm going to save this. I'm going to call this SC only base. Okay. Now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and go up to here in our objects panel, and I'm going to hold down the option or the command key, and it would be alt key on PC, and click and drag. We're going to get a copy of the StreamCatcher text. So I'm going to turn off the original, and with the StreamCatcher text here, what I want to do is with this fill, I'm going to call this base. Again, we've got the logo, the StreamCatcher text, and we've got the base, but the base is not done like the logo is. If we go up to here and look at the geometry with Garo and line shading, you can see that this is full of quadrangles that look absolutely sexy. And this is not. That's one big giant friggin' polygon. So again, if we were using two objects that were of the same type, i.e. this one was not quite an object and this one was not quite an object, I think it would probably work better. Cinema 4D, you know, when you're trying to mix two things like this and do a complex math Boolean operation, not a good idea. So what we want to do is take the base and we're going to go ahead and run a remesh on it. So we'll grab this tool, remesh, up here. You can see here. Let me make sure that's, yeah, okay. So you've got remesh, and we're going to take the base and slide it into the remesh tool. Now when you go down to here in the remesh panel, click here. We can take our mesh density up. I'll take it up to say 400%, and then I will take the adaptiveness down and set the adaptive count to 0. And now if you look at the object, we have geometry. And I'm going to actually take it down a little bit more because if you look at the difference in size of the polygons, we're talking about a big difference. So let's try, I think it was 1,000 that I had set it at. Oops. 111. There we go. 1,000. So let's see if that. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Let's try it. It's at 1,000, and then we'll go ahead and connect that, because you have to connect these objects together with a connect. So we're going base, remesh, and then the remesh goes under connect. And then you take the tolerance of the connect down to 0, again, if you want no changes in your geometry, which is, of course, we do not want that. Now that we have that, we can say connect objects and delete, and call this base again. One of the problems with renaming things over and over again in applications, because it doesn't remember, or it doesn't know what you want to name it. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're cutting out the text out of the base so that we can actually merge the base back into the text and have a hole cutting through it. So now that we have the base and we've got the logo here that we're using, the copy, we're going to take that base and E for move and just grab that sucker and put it right in the middle. It doesn't really matter, but we definitely don't want it to hit the bevel front part. So that looks pretty good. Just keep it right in the middle. All we're doing is using the logo to cut a hole out of the back glue base part. So we take the StreamCatcher and the base. Actually, don't do that. Grab a Boolean and pull those two in. And let's see what this does. It's thinking about it again, slowing down a little bit. All right. Where are we? Okay. I am trying to get Cinema 4D back. Find Illustrator. Find Photoshop. Where'd you go? It won't come back. Oh my geez. Okay, that's interesting. Options, show all windows. Well, how bizarre. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Live is so much fun, I swear. I'm definitely doing some tutorials offline. Let's see, cancel that. Oh, gosh, thank you. I don't know why you were doing what you were doing, but okay. So oh, that's what I forgot to do. Okay. That was all hollow. That's right, I forgot. That was all hollow. Okay. So let's undo that. Let's get that out of there. Let's go ahead and pull that up. And what I'm going to do is, just for fun, I'm going to take that off. And we'll go over to Illustrator. I'm just doing this so that I can yeah, okay, I'll just grab this logo. That didn't work. Command N. No, I didn't want that. I want film and video. Command N. Film and object, Command V. What's going on size-wise here? It's no big deal. What I want to do is just get this guy real quick. Save this on my computer. And we'll call it SCS to delete. And ID repo, yes, save that. And then if we go back into Cinema 4D, we will do another import. And again, this is, I've done this 3 times already, and showing you different ways to kind of do this is kind of the point of all of this. There's always a way to fix things and alter stuff, but you really need to know your tools and be proficient in them. So let's see where we are here. And, oops, I hate doing that. Frame default. Okay, so where are we? Gosh, that's close, isn't it? Okay, so we're just a little bit off. And that looks good. All right. Now, again, what we're doing is we're using the solid piece to cut the piece out of the bevel that we've got going on, the base. So we've got this and the base. And now we have a solid object that we can cut out of the base. So we're going to go ahead and bring that base in again. So we're going to go vector import. Sometimes you have to do things over and over again. It's ridiculous. Vector import, grab our base. We're going to go ahead and move that puppy up. And size him down a little bit. See where we are there, a little too much. Okay, that looks good. And again, these are not, if you're doing 3D modeling and 3D for printing, you're generally going to be doing this a lot more detailed, and a lot more complex, and a lot more accurate. But I'm just showing you how we kind of think things through and work stuff out and get stuff going. And now you can see we have a base and the lettering. We need to take the base, bring it to 4 millimeters. The size is correct. The height is fine. Layer offset. Path spread to 0. Make sure that's correct. And now that we've got the 4 millimeters, that looks pretty good. Okay, again, so we've got that. We're going to go ahead and save this. And okay, now here's a perfect example of this. If we started over and just did it from scratch instead of trying to screw with the models, this is what we would have done. If you look and see here, we've got the base is like this. This is the to delete one, right? So we get rid of that one for the time being. And then the to delete one, we need to make that 20 millimeters. Oops. That's weird. Make that 20. And make sure your offset, make sure your offset is 0 and 0. And now, we've got Aha. Now you can see what we're doing. All right. Now these have not been remeshed. They have not been connected. They do not have all the polygonal data and information in them. But I guarantee you, well, that's dangerous. I guarantee you that Cinema 4D is going to be able to handle this Boolean really well. At least I'm hoping it will. So let's go ahead and try Mr. Bool. Let's try Mr. Bool. All right. And there. That's probably what I want. Boolean is off. See a little X mark up there? Right here. Click that. Then you're going to get a Boolean. Hopefully. Okay, so that's cut out. Look, you can see what it did. It cut out a line exactly because I screwed this up and always do it the opposite way, which I don't know why. All right, now we're cooking with gas. Now we've got a beautiful, beautiful Boolean cut. All of the geometry is still kind of in flux because it's not really geometry yet. It's just, you know, splines that are representing this. But look how awesome that is. I mean, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. So we can go ahead and take this whole thing and connect objects and delete. Just get rid of it and call it base. I can rename it later because I'm going to remesh it. But, you know, again, copy it. Go here. We could say remesh. And put that in there. Oh, put that in there. And then when we remesh, we want, let's go ahead and take this to 600. And again, take our adaptive count down to 0. And now, look at that. There we go. That's what we're looking for. We got some nice geometry. Nice. Actually, we could probably take it down to 400. And it works a lot faster, too, when you do things not dumb. That's a way to put it. Do things not dumb. That is gorgeous, and that's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what we needed. So we are going to go ahead and commit that to a connect. So we go over to here, and we say connect. Right here. And go up to remesh. Drop that under connect. And now you can see that screwed it all up, right? Ooh, that's terrible. Icky, icky, icky. 0. Okay. Now, again, we take it to 0. And it's perfect again. Now this is a gorgeous mesh. We can save this off right now as something we can just say CS space in prog. And then we'll go ahead and connect this and connect objects and delete. We'll call it base. And then we will copy it. We're not going to save this version. Oh, we need to open up the other one. Open 4D, I believe. And scene is already open. I've got something very weird going on with Cinema 4D. Do you want to open up with the same name window? Okay. Oh, that's Basso in progress. Great. Okay, so Untitled 3. Why do I have... Okay, let's quit Cinema 4D. Let's just get this done. No, I don't want to save that. And open her up again. This was... it might have been something I did with the screen. I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody. I just sometimes I make a mistake and it does not the software. So here we go. Let's take 4D and bring you down here again. Size you, make sure you're all sized properly. Okay. So open recent. Okay, there's that one. Open recent 4D. There we go. All right, grab this guy and turn him off. And then we will go over to here, grab our connect objects and delete, glue base, Command C, and Command V. Ooh, look at that, came right over, right where I wanted it. Very nice. Okay, so let's close you down. I don't need you anymore. No, I do not want to save. There we go. All right, so the glue base came over, and we can see here that there it is. So grab that glue base and just move. Oh, I'm stretching, sorry, hold on. E for move, and there we go. All right. So this is how things work. You know, you have to build things pieces at a time, but this way, as you can see, we've got the hollow object of the lettering and everything. All the lettering is hollowed out on the inside, so it's only got, you know, a little bit of a wall in order to build the actual letters themselves. And then you've got this kind of shelf that we've made that fits perfectly over it and can be merged into one object. And then that way, when it prints, you've got this lip that you can then glue to here and then slide this object in through the border itself. So there's the border. And again, we're gonna do another border. I'm not happy with this one at all. This was just kind of a placeholder to kind of see how things would work. But again, we've got this text for StreamCatcher and we've got the glue base, and what we can do is go over and just kind of look and see where this would go, and you just push it in, you know, until it comes back out. And we actually go, let's go ahead and grab this one and bring it up here as well. That way we can see it colored a little bit better. And you can see here the object, we can push it in, and then, you know, that's kind of where it would be sitting right there. And, you know, that's probably way too far out, so we can, of course, take the text itself and bring that in, and then move that back. You know, maybe that's where we'll want it. Again, this is all about placement and making sure that you're getting the right pieces and that they'll fit together, that they won't have problems. And then again, you're going to have to make sure that you get pieces and parts that are going to allow you to be able to, say, glue them together or provide a base, that kind of thing. And then you can see that's where we're going with this. So, you know, hey, we get all kinds of cool 3D stuff from Cinema 4D. You know, StreamCatcher did that, and do, you know, lower thirds, do all kinds of graphics from little rain stuff with our logo. That's After Effects, actually. There's Cinema 4D and After Effects using some particular as well. And then we've got a little zap. All right, so we've got some more some more great stuff to show you, but let's see, where are we? 4:51. Damn, it's been 2 hours already almost. Definitely going to do some quick, shorter tutorials that are not going to be live, that I'll be able to edit them together and show you how to do all kinds of neat stuff. But again, the idea here is you want to understand your tools. You want to know what's going on. You want to be smart about, oh, did I move that? You want to be smart about what it is you're doing. And there we go. And always save. Definitely always save. Once we have everything figured out and we know exactly what we're going to do with, you know, the pieces, the idea here is that these parts will actually be clear. The StreamCatcher, the society, the lines, this blue S, and then the interior part will be a dark black or a darker color, and this will be dark as well, so that only the clear parts will light up because we're going to put LEDs behind the sign. Okay, so what have we learned today? We've learned I can actually do a video with sound, which is, hey, why not? Sound is helpful. We learned that Cinema 4D is really powerful for creating all kinds of great logos and different things. It's a powerhouse for 3D animation, for doing 3D printing. Again, I can show you real quick before we kind of kick out of here. You can export this model and you can save it. You can export it as 3D Studio, Alembic. You've got Allplan, Bullet, Collada, Direct3D, DXF, FBX, Forger, GITF, Illustrator, blah, 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 blah. STL is the one you want to use when you're exporting for a 3D print. So you would bring the STL file into something like Chi2Box or Lychee Slicer or Prusa Slicer, and you would import this STL and then be able to do all kinds of fun things with it. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll show you just real fast. This is master delete .stl. Okay. If we go over to Prusa Slicer, this is Prusa Slicer. So we can import a model. We'll do an STL. And we'll go to deletetme.stl, which is right there. And as you can see, we've got a big ass model. Let's see, size you down. Okay, so this is my build plate for my Cobra Max, Cobra 2 Plus, excuse me. And you can see I don't have anything. This is all set up as just one model file, so we're not going to, of course, print this. But this is the model as it comes in, and you know, if I wanted to print a solid block that looked like this right now, I could. We would simply, you know, maybe make the rotation like that. Make it like that a little bit. Let's see. Bring it down even further like that. And then what we do is go over to our Cobra 2 settings. Where's my settings? Oh, did you know that you can schedule the print to pause at a specific layer? Yes, I can. Okay, so slice now. We don't want that. I want my support. So I'll save the project. Delete me. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And what we want to do here is once this saves, I'll show you, we want our supports for support enforcers only. Let's try that with an infill of 20%. We could have a brim on it if we wanted, but once we do that, we go over to slice now, Command R, which will also reslice it as well. So it's generating, preparing the infill, searching for support spots, and generating the G code, which is what you send to the printer. And it says empty layer between 0.65 and 125, which is interesting. So make sure the object is printable. You know, again, this object is not printable from what I can see, but if we go up to here, if we put on major supports everywhere, and then do a Command R again, we'll see what happens there. Generating support material, generating G code, and slicing finished, and no errors as well. So if we go over to here and look at it, we'll have to look for supports here. Aha, okay. So this is the, when you click here, you get your layers area, and that gives you the supports and all the other things that you can kind of take a look at and see what your model is going to do. So right now the supports are in green, the model is in orange. Kind of tilted it that way to see what it would do, but this is a lot of supports. This Prusa Slicer is great for a free app, and you can definitely get a lot done with it, but the supports, as they come stock out of the box, you know, you can do a lot better with other applications. But this just gives you an idea of like how the print's going to work. This is a 320 by 320 millimeter build area. The printer goes up in this direction 420 degrees in the y-axis. So X and Z are, or you know, well, they say X and Y. Actually, this is Z is up, right? Z for me is, you know, forward and backward. But X and Y, and then Z axis is 420. So 320 by 320 by 420, and that would be about, you know, probably about a 280 millimeter long sign. Once we have it all figured out and spec'd out and got all the layers done, we're going to print all these pieces separately because we want some clear, we want some solid, and we're going to make this into a whole little sign that we will light up and show you the results of. So I'm excited to do that, and I've also got a couple of objects I got to print for my studio, including a new Stream Deck XL mount and one for my Loop Deck CT as well. So anyway, that's Prusa Slicer. Gives you kind of a good idea of where we're going to go with this. But again, going back to Cinema 4D, this is not, I'm not happy with this base part at all, this main, you know, this part. So I'm happy with the way it came out as far as cutting it out and, you know, giving us holes, but I'm not happy about the shape or anything else. It's just kind of boring. So I'm going to figure out a different way to present the sign and take a look around at some signage and different stuff and get some inspiration from the past and see what I can come up with to come up with something really, really cool. But for the time being, I just wanted to kind of get my sea legs on a video that hopefully is working all the way through. And luckily I'm recording it on my ATEM if not. But anyway, yeah, it's been really fun just showing you guys what can happen in Cinema 4D with some modeling, some logo work, some 3D printing, kind of setting things up in Illustrator beforehand. We'd love to hear what you guys want to have me talk about and have you learn. We have 40 plus years of experience in the computer graphics industry, and we are desperately wanting to help people, but we have to kind of find that synergy, and we're working on getting the website up and offering all kinds of cool things to people as we can build them. But we're not going to build anything. We're not going to promise you anything or try and deliver anything to you before it's time. So we've gotten the studio up, we've gotten the site, the YouTube channel going, the video and audio seem to be working well, and we had a good couple hours here with Cinema 4D. So I want to thank you very much for tuning in and checking it out. And we will be back very soon with some cool 3D printed Cinema 4D output. So God bless, take care, peace out, Rainbow Trout.